modernization of the Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport is on schedule. Phase 1 of the Bridge Border Post Modernization Project is complete and now open to the public. The tourism and hospitality sector is on a rapid post-COVID recovery path, and more airlines are servicing our routes. State enterprises and parastatals have great potential to contribute to economic growth. As such, their profitability and efficiency remain a priority. The Grain Marketing Board, DMAJA, has separated the strategic grain reserve from the commercial division. Zimbabwe Mining Development Corporation subsidiaries have been recapitalized and strengthened through joint venture partnerships. Furthermore, the Airports Company of Zimbabwe and the Civil Aviation Authority of Zimbabwe are now operating as two distinct companies. Mr. Speaker said, Madam President, in April this year, our nation accomplished a historic transition by undertaking a digital population and housing census, replacing the traditional paper-based system. Results sample of the importance of technologies and innovation in the improvement of our systems. Competence-based curriculum in primary and secondary schools supports the transition from school to the world of work through study of sciences, technology, innovation, and the production of goods and services. Our education revolution, dubbed Chimurenga Chepfungwa, is progressing at an accelerated pace. Robust innovation and industrialization core ecosystems now characterize our universities and colleges, with more and more of our young, talented boys and girls registering patents, startups, and breakthrough inventions. These will continue to be nurtured for commercialization as we leap forward the modernization and industrialization of our motherland, Zimbabwe. Comrades and friends, Zimbabwe recently launched our first satellite, ZimStat-1, into space. This will have far-reaching impacts on all sectors of the economy, including agriculture, mining, as well as weather and land management systems. Our quest to achieve universal health coverage remains on course. Renovations and the construction of health centers, clinics, and district hospitals are being speeded up. The new Pathology and Diagnostic Center in Midlands, at Midlands State University, with the state-of-the-art equipment, has increased the community access to related services. The Simon Mazorodze School of Medical and Health Sciences has been established as part of a comprehensive program to enhance the training of medical practitioners in our country. This becomes the fourth medical and health sciences school in our motherland, Zimbabwe. Polytechnics teachers' colleges and industrial training centers are now under the newly created Tertiary Education Council. The mandates of these colleges are being enhanced towards national development through learning of science, technology, engineering, and innovation to produce goods and services that better the quality of life of our people. Recognizing the of the e-government system, citizens should be able to obtain permits, licenses, and personal documents without visiting government offices. To date, the use of information communication technologies has greatly enhanced the service delivery within the Civil Registry Department, which is now issuing passports more efficiently than before. Mr. Speaker, Madam President, our responsive social protection measures are catering for vulnerable individuals, households, and communities. Over 2 million orphans and vulnerable children have benefited under the BEAM program. The food deficit mitigation program is ongoing. Housing delivery is expected to spur the nation towards the attainment of our Vision 2030, with the projects underway in all parts of the country. Financial institutions and the private sector are commended for complementing government efforts in this regard. Youth development and economic empowerment are critical cogs in the Second Republic's transformational agenda. Under the Youth Build Zimbabwe program, more youths are volunteering towards community and national development programs. All stakeholders are urged to scale up programs to end the new menace of drug and substance abuse, child marriages, as well as all forms of violence. Government is mainstreaming and entrenching a new work culture across the public sector to bolster performance and the delivery of quality services across all levels of public entities, including local authorities and state-owned enterprises. Mr. Speaker, Madam President, Zimbabwe's foreign policy of engagement and re-engagement, as well as our thrust to be a friend to all and an enemy to none, continues to bear fruit. Our diplomatic missions have been refocused towards economic diplomacy and diaspora engagement to attract investment and mutually beneficial partnerships across the globe. The need for the unconditional removal of sanctions, which have constrained socioeconomic growth for decades, remains urgent and imperative. We are grateful to AU, SADC, and other world leaders who made similar calls during the 77th United Nations General Assembly recently. Our country welcomes the invitation to attend the United States Africa Summit in December next month. And emphasis remains on dialogue and multilateralism as the best option to resolve today's global challenges. We take pride in the election of Honorable Chief Charumbira as the President of the Pan-African Parliament. Also, we have our own citizen, son of the soil, Dr. Cosmas Zava, as director of the Telecommunications Development Bureau of the International Communications Union, as well as Zimbabwe's election into the International Civil Aviation Organization Council. This speaks volumes of our foreign policy. Our country has also assumed the chairmanship of the Kimberley Process Certification Scheme worldwide. As sanctions-free Zimbabwe stands ready to do more within the Committee of Nations. Meanwhile, our security forces are contributing officers for regional and international peace support operations under the United Nations, the African Union, and within SADC. The participation of women in peacekeeping missions has increased, with the current Air Force of Zimbabwe deployment surpassing 50% mark espoused in the United Nations, AU, and the SADC protocols on gender equality. The all-encompassing Veterans of the Liberation Struggle Act is being implemented following the provision of funding for the operationalization of the Veterans Investment Corporation. Mr. Speaker, Madam President, allow me now to turn to the legislative business, which must occupy the parliamentary schedule during this final session of the 9th Parliament. The office of the Attorney General has since been hived off from the Minister of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs. This should see this office fully discharging its mandate more efficiently and effectively. In the financial services sector, the Insurance Bill seeks the Insurance Act to address regulatory gaps and weaknesses. The new session must expedite passage of the Labour Amendment Bill. Cabinet recently passed the Public Procurement and the Disposal of Public Assets Compliance Monitoring and Evaluation Regulations 2022, as well as the amendments to the Public Procurement and Disposal of Public Assets General Amendment Regulations 2018, which, among other provisions, will require all procuring agencies to establish the market value of goods for ease of evaluation of quotations and the value for money. In line with the Agriculture, Food Systems and Transformation Strategy, amendments to the Plant Breeders Act, the Animal Health Act, the Water Act, the Xeno Act, the Land Commission Act, and the Bees Act will be tabled. Equally, the Fisheries and Aquaculture Bill, the Agricultural Resources Conservation Bill, and the Agricultural Education Bill will enhance the attainment of food and nutrition security. In addition, the Sugar Act is being reviewed in order to classify sugarcane as a strategic crop. The Mines and Minerals Amendment Bill now awaits gazetting. Farming and mining activities will be accorded due recognition in the resolution of disputes. The bill will also strengthen environmental protection. The fifth session must speedily consider legislation towards alignment of the devolution and decentralization program of the Second Republic through amendments of the Provincial Councils and Administration Act, the Rural District Councils Act, as well as the Regional, Town and Country Planning Act. The Disaster Risk Management Bill will promote the involvement of all citizens in effective disaster preparedness, mitigation, response, and recovery measures. Government shall be seeking parliamentary ratification of various memoranda of understanding regarding partnerships to promote ICT infrastructure and skills development. Through the Electronic Transactions and Electronic Commerce Bill, government seeks to establish a legal framework that facilitates fair, accessible, responsible, and sustainable online transacting, including the recognition of digital signatures. The Criminal Law Codification and Reform Amendment Bill 2022, the Public Interest Disclosure Protection of Whistleblowers Bill 2022, the Electoral Amendment Bill 2022, the Witness Protection Bill, the Zimbabwe Human Rights Amendment Bill, and the Legal Aid Amendment Bill must all be tabled during this session. The Electoral Amendment Bill, which spells out new provisions for holding the 2023 harmonized elections, should be speedily concluded by this Parliament. Outstanding bills from the fourth session of the 9th Parliament must be expedited. These include the Child Justice Bill, the Judicial Laws Amendment Bill, and the Prisons and Correctional Service Amendment Bill. Mr. Speaker, Madam President, as I conclude, I wish to reiterate that the attainment of Vision 2030 of a prosperous and empowered upper middle income society requires raising production and productivity across all sectors of the economy. This can only be achieved if our people are united and peaceful. Political players seeking the people's mandate during the upcoming 2023 harmonized general elections must maintain and consolidate the current peace, unity, harmony, and love that we have built and nurtured under the Second Republic. Violent confrontations have never been part of our culture as a people. Let me also emphasize that although the COVID-19 pandemic has largely subsided, the virus still poses a threat. Therefore, there is need for all our people to remain vigilant. I want to take this opportunity to wish Parliament success in dispensing its onerous duty as the elected representatives of the people of our motherland, Zimbabwe. With these remarks, it is now my singular honor and privilege to declare the fifth session of the 9th Parliament of Zimbabwe officially open. God bless you all. God bless Zimbabwe. I thank you.
May we all rise.
And that's the mood that has been set here at the new Parliament building by President Emmerson Mnangagwa as he gave his State of the Nation address and also as he officially opened the 5th session of the 9th Parliament of Zimbabwe. Members of Parliament, of course, happy with the delivery by the President, which took note of various areas that have been undertaken by the Second Republic in terms of improving relations with other countries, in terms of improving the livelihoods of the generality of the people. Of course, Bengani, President Emmerson Mnangagwa mentioned the various economic programs that have been undertaken to improve the economy of the country, revival of industry. He's spoken of economic growth, implementation of the NDS1, fiscal measures to curtail rent-seeking and speculative behavior, inflation declining from up to 3.5% from 12.5% from September. A lot of measures that have been undertaken and put in place by the Second Republic as espoused by the President. Bengani.
Uqinisile justice kesazwa njalo umongameli welizwe ekhuluma njalo ngesimo selizwe leZimbabwe ekhangela njalo uqhakatheka lezikhundla esizinikwe ilizwe leZimbabwe izalwane zeZimbabwe sikhangela abantu abahlanganisa uDr Zabazaba lo osekhethwe ukuba liciko kumbe onikwe isikhundla esikhulu njalo sikhangela lo mongameli wePAP induna uFortune Cherumbira sikhangela umsebenzi oqhakathekileyo ophathwa izalwane zeZimbabwe osekuyinto esinconywe njalo nguhulumende wesibili. Sikhangela njalo nentuthuko esike yaba khona, siyakhangela njalo ukuthi umongameli welizwe ukhulume esithi yena uqhakathekile ukuthi kusetshenziswe izindlela zakulezi insuku zokuhanjiswa kwemisebenzi, esithi ukhangelele ukuthi abantu benelise ukuthatha ama-passports izithupha bengafikanga emahofisini, okuyinto enhle ephathwa nguhulumende wesibili. Justin.
Certainly, Bengani, the President also took note of the progress that has been taking place rather across almost all sectors of the economy, in terms of agriculture, in terms of mining, artisanal mining, increased gold production. That's what the President said. He also mentioned the fact that there is increasing activity within the lithium sector. You understand that there's a lot of activity there, particularly with regards the prospects of Zimbabwe beginning to manufacture its own electric vehicles and electric batteries using the lithium mine that is being mined here in Zimbabwe. And also you look at the government's focus on renewable energy. The manufacturing sector is also on a rebound, capacity having exceeding 66% Bengani, up from 27% in 2020. So the President also mentioned there that the country is now focusing on job creation. You look at the refurbishment of the country's airstrips and also the revival that has taken place within the tourism sector. And we have witnessed a number of new airlines that have actually begun to ply the routes that are coming into Zimbabwe, Victoria Falls, Bulawayo. We have direct flights from Harare to Bulawayo, from Dar es Salaam to Bulawayo. We have also have flights that are coming through courtesy of new airlines that have joined the fleet that is now coming into Zimbabwe. So there's a lot of progress that is taking place, but also President Emmerson Mnangagwa highlighting the major bills that this new session, the 5th session of the 9th Parliament, should actually put their attention to ensure that they are finalized. He took note particularly of the Disposal of Public Assets Bill, the Water Act, the Land Commission Act, the Fisheries and Aquaculture Bills, among others. We see there the President getting ready to depart after having delivered his State of the Nation address, which has been received resoundingly by members of Parliament here at the new Parliament building. And also we noticed that the Vice President, Dr. Retired General Constantino Chiwenga, was part of the proceedings there. The President now goes as he takes leave of the venue, the new Parliament building, which is also we are expecting the official handover of this structure to be announced in due course as the Republic of China will be handing over the facility to the government of Zimbabwe.
Uqinisile Justin Mongameli sesuka kathesi ngemva kokwethula amazwi ebika ngesimo selizwe leZimbabwe sakhangela njalo ukuthi soke ngoba linqubekela phambili ikakhulu kukhangelwa ukuthi isakhiwo lesi satshwa ihlahla ngomnyaka ka2018 siqhubekela phambili engapha sikhangela njalo ukuthi sikhangela ukwenzakala kathesi sikhangela njalo intuthuko yezenotho sikhangela intuthuko sesama gold coins Justin kusebenziswa njalo ukusebenziswa kwama bond notes kanye le mali esithe yabakhona yathathwa yona le Justin.
Certainly, the policies and measures that have been introduced by the Minister of Finance and Economic Development, Professor Mnangagwa, to curtail the rent-seeking behavior, to also control the skyrocketing black market rates that have actually been eroding people's incomes. And now these measures have been put in place to ensure that Zimbabweans have disposable incomes and they are also able to participate in the economic development of the country.
Njengokukhuluma kwakho Justin ukuthi usikhwica imfundo umthuli Ncube ongumphathi intambo wezemali uyakhuluma njalo esithi kuqhakathekile ukuthi thina njengeZimbabwe zezalwane zeZimbabwe sibe yithi esilondolozayo inotho yelizwe leZimbabwe sakhangela njalo ukuza kwama gold coins kwaphathisa kakhulu ukuthi kuthathwe imali njalo ngabantu akade beyizigilamkhuba bekhuluma izinto ezingalunganga njalo owasokuphazamisa inotho yelizwe leZimbabwe sakhangela okwamanje ukuthi ama gold coins lawa Justin esiphathise kakhulu ukuthi umuntu uZulu sisenelisa la ukuthi awathenge njalo lokho osekwenze imali yakuleli yazinza Justin.
You can still see the viewers on your screens, the procession that's leading to the departure of His Excellency President Mnangagwa from the new Parliament building, where he has just delivered the State of the Nation address as well as the official opening of the 5th session of the 9th Parliament of Zimbabwe. It's a great day indeed for the country, for also the parties that are represented in the Parliament. We have also heard earlier from the opposition MDCT President Mr. Douglas Monsora and his willingness to work with the ruling ZANU-PF party to talk together, to bring each other to the table, to ensure that there is indeed development that takes people out of poverty and out of lack. So this is what is happening here at the new Parliament building in Mt Hampden. It's indeed a great day also, having witnessed the magnificent structure here, a result of the working relations as espoused by President Mnangagwa between the People's Republic of China and the government of Zimbabwe. When he mentioned the issues of Zimbabwe's engagement and re-engagement drive, Bengani, President Mnangagwa also emphasized the fact that he appreciates the support that came from the SADC bloc, from the African Union and other progressive bodies in supporting Zimbabwe's call for the unconditional lifting of the sanctions that were imposed on the country.
Njengokhuluma kwakho ukuthi umongameli welizwe uthe yena kuqhakathekile ukudlelana namanye amazwe. Siyabona Justin ukuthi ilizwe leZimbabwe linxusiwe emhlanganweni oxhumanisa iAfrica leUnited States, okuyinto encomekayo njalo into azayingena layo ngenyanga ezayo ngoMpalakazi, ngonyanga eyozayo uDisemba, okutshengisa ukuthi ubudlelwano obukhona phakathi kwelizwe leZimbabwe lamanye amazwe njengokugcizelela kwakhe ukuthi iZimbabwe ilizwe elilabangani abaningi elingelazitha Justin, okuyinto enhle. Sikhangela njalo ukuthi ilizwe leZimbabwe like lethula isatellite yalo yakuqala, kuyinto ejabulisayo, umsebenzi omuhle kakhulu ophathwa nguhulumende wesibili Justin.
Certainly Zimbabwe making a mark on the international scene. The president there, Bengani, mentioned the fact that at the regional level we have our own Chief Fortune Charumbira, who has been elected president and now leads the Pan-African Parliament, and also the first vice president of the youth arm of the PAP, our own Honorable Tatenda Mavetera. And also we have Dr. Zavazava, who has just been elected to to lead the International Telecommunications Union. So these are Zimbabweans who are making a mark on the international scene in various sectors. And of course, President Mnangagwa referring to the launch of the ZimSat-1, Zimbabwe's first ever satellite project that has just been launched into space. And of course, we await possibly in December the announcement of the deployment of that satellite. And he mentioned, the president there, that this satellite project is going to be very handy and very useful in terms of assisting with information to do with mining, to do with agriculture, to do with disaster mapping, disaster recovery and preparedness, as well as other issues to do with what takes place on the land in terms of mapping wildlife and plant life. So this is a project that is going to take Zimbabwe another step forward into also catching up with other countries in terms of information communication technologies.
sokulebereka kuwata Justin kuti mtungamiri wenyika valebereka kale kuti ishango le Zimbabwe labonekwa kuti likumubata mishingo mikulugulukasa kulingwa kuti mtungamiri wegubungano lye Papa She Fortune Charumbira tilinga akale kuti ishango le Zimbabwe lekapiwa kuti litungamire akale kuba ungali chibula we Kimberley Process Certification Scheme unova unshingo nkulugulukasa wakapiwa ishango le Zimbabwe zunu zubuyanana zikumutiwa ni urumende ya abiri tikumulinga akale kuti kuna zumwe zinu zwakatiwa Justin zwatibwene na maboko zinobatika na maboko zobatwa akale ne urumende yabiri tilinga RGM International Airport mishingo mibuya tilinga modernization ngatiwa ku Bedbridge kuti mishingo yatanga kushinga Victoria Falls International Airport zose zikumushinga akale kuna chimwe chikamu chongwagwa unobatanisa Harare ne Bedbridge wavurwa kuti tange kushinga zunu zumwe zinoshantisa akale zwalebereka nontungamiri akuti iye kukumushingiswa zobiya zinowanika mushango Zimbabwe zimutiwa nabana beshango le Zimbabwe. Just
Zimbabwe is indeed and certainly making strides in ensuring that its people and its economy are lifted from the doldrums. And of course, we have begun just to witness the fruits of those efforts by the Second Republic. A lot of work has been taking place and a lot of lives are being transformed. We are taking you back to our Pockets Studios. Thank you so much for watching.
And there ends the broadcast of the State of the Nation address by His Excellency President Emmerson Mnangagwa as he marked the official opening of the 5th session of the 9th Parliament of Zimbabwe, where he set government's legislative agenda for the coming season. Now, members of the public are also kindly advised that today's event was not the official opening of the new Parliament building. It is the official opening of the 5th session of the 9th Parliament and delivery of the State of the Nation address, as was brought forward by His Excellency President Emmerson Mnangagwa. The Finance Minister will be presenting the 2023 national budget after this tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining us. Please feel free to keep sending us more of your questions, comments, and your contributions on our social media platform at ZBC News Online. For myself, Nobu Mawungwa, and the rest of